There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Chandler's Cottage. How are you this morning? It's been a while. Well, it's been a while before we've been in the studio. I spoke to you yesterday. You saw me yesterday. And then last weekend was a big weekend, of course. But it's nice to be back in the naughty corner with Miss Ginny on cue. Oh. Gin, you've had like 45 minutes to get up here. Let me just find you on my phone so that I can see who's here. Did you like that subtle persuasion to sit still, buddy? Hey? There we go. So we'll pop that on there. And then look, we can see everybody. We can. Good morning, Donna. Good morning, Linnell. Francis, good morning. Oh, it's so lovely. You're all here. It's super nice on time and early, which is fantastic. I actually have been out here a while, because I'm just going back over everything that we've done since we packed up the Melba exhibition last weekend. Good morning, Susan. I can see you're here. Good morning, Robin. Hi, Yvonne. Sue McGonchie's here. Francis is here. Oh, Wendy Burns. Hello to you. Denise Langford. I know you all so well now. It's so cool, isn't it? Bernadette, winner, chicken dinner. If everyone didn't know and saw, Bernadette won our beautiful Melba quilt that Deb Nielsen very, very generously and kindly made, quilted and donated last weekend, and we're really looking forward to catching up with the team at Olivia's place this week to hand over our donation. So that is super good, and I'll give you all the stats on that on Wednesday night. It'll be Wednesday night. Chris, good morning to you in Hillsville. Hello, Jill. Jill, are you home? You must be home. You home by now? I think so. I don't know. Tell me if you're back home in New South Wales. Good morning, Pam. Hello, Dell. Good morning to you. Donna's here from Tassie. Catherine Doust, your exhibition pieces are sitting on the table to send off to you tomorrow. Deb Rumble's here, and Bridget's here. Same with you, Bridge. Yours are going out tomorrow. Kathy Ahern's here. Oh, look at you all. Morning, Bobby. Julie's here. Melissa's here. I've got your bag over there and stuff too, Melissa. Chris, good morning to you. Oh, I'm enough, aren't I? Never mind, we're all fixed. Oh, it's all good. I fixed up with Margaret last night, and she just, I told her, messaged her, but I could feel her rolling her eyes. Like, yes, Lisa, I know that Christine, never mind. Denise, good morning. We will have a lovely Sunday. My goodness, got so much to do today, inside and out. Good morning, Pauline. Meg's here. Got your stuff ready to go, Meg, with your mirror ball bag as well. It's packed up, ready to go. Rhonda, good morning. Hey, listen, I could keep going. We could just do this. Oh, Ginny. Nancy says hello. Okay, just look down the camera. Oh, Jill, the Orchid Show was fantastic. It was amazing, but do you know, it's always so cool to go back to an event space after you've left and see it in a different format and being used differently. And Leanne, it's sunny in Queensland. Of course it's sunny in Queensland, and I'm not coming up to see you yet. Oh, Diane Ross, good morning. Imelda Kavanagh is here and on Facebook. Good morning, Louise. Oh, from Queanbeyan? Really? Oh. Queanbeyan is a very, very nice place. In fact, I have very, very fond memories of a fantastic time with the Queanbeyan girls, the Queanbeyan quilters. Great group. Fantastic, very talented group of ladies. Good morning, Rose. I'm going to be careful here. I'm going to get myself terribly sidetracked. No, Robbie, we don't know if we've won the orchids or not, Denise, yet. There's first prize and second prize. Either would be great, but I would assume it will be drawn this afternoon, after lunch, when they finish today. They're only on this morning. Yes, I'm getting so sidetracked. Yes, so nice to go back into the event space and have a look. And so it was great going yesterday and walking in and going, oh, look at this. So different to what it looked like when we were in there last week. So if you are in West Gippy or you're driving through today, this morning, the Gippsland Orchid Club have their show on, and it is a sight to behold. It is absolutely beautiful, and there are orchids for sale and things, and it's fantastic. Cindy's here. Good morning. Cindy's in Yeovil, which is halfway between Darbo and Orange, and I didn't know that until I met Cindy and her cousin Lee. There you go. So yes, it was amazing, and I used to do that as well at the Australian Botanic Gardens at Cranbourne. I used to go back into that space a few days later and look at it again, just, as a visitor to the gardens rather than running around like a headless chook doing an event. And one delightful thing that did happen after our exhibition sometimes was that longest lunch. You know how you do those longest lunch events? And so I used to get to attend those, and one year we did all the table runners for it as well. So it looked pretty spesh with some under the Australian sun. But anyway, we will be back there again. Ginny is sitting on the itinerary for next year. So I might just very quickly move her off there. I was going through it before you got here this morning, because this week has been a massive regroup and planning week, believe it or not, for next year. And so it was a big week, and I thought I would just, if you've got a pen and paper and you do join us, or you want to know when there's things to watch, I'm just going to reel off some dates for you now. Beautiful. Can you just sit there? Sit. Don't you get feisty with me. No, not live on Facebook. Sit down. Monday, RACV Country Club at Hillsville, knocking out final details now and signing a big fat contract for our events up there with Jason Yenta next year. Tuesday was menu planning and a couple of little x-rays on my back and stuff for me, but menu planning and getting organised for the rest of the things that are happening here this year. There was some stuff done for that. And then Wednesday, Marg and I went down the church hall again and spoke to the lovely team there, the Reverend John and Wendy, and set all of our dates for next year for Creative Escapes and the goodbye, not farewell, but goodbye, under the Australian Sun exhibition, because we're going to do it all again for that next year. I wanted to call it the See You Later one, but no one will get that if they're not Aussies. And it's probably not a good thing to search for on Google. So it'll be goodbye under the Australian sun. You ready, Gin? So first of all, we've got our Spring Creative Escape coming up on the 25th of October at the hall. Now it is booked out, but as I mentioned yesterday when I was down the Orchid Show, we did not have a waiting list. It makes us sad to have a waiting list in a way, because it means that someone's not going to be able to come and they don't know it yet, but maybe something might happen. Got the cold, got the flu, had a better offer, forbid, but had a better offer, who knows. But we do like to have a waiting list, because then it's so sad if we have empty seats. So it sort of goes each way. So if you would like to go on the waiting list for the spring one, because it did sell out early, then please email me at info@Chandler's Cottage and we will start a waiting list, okay, so that your name is there, and if someone can't come at the last minute, we will give you a buzz. So it's Saturday the 25th of October if you want to have a look in your diaries. Now we usually release the tickets for the next one on one of the Creative Escapes, so it would happen that we would release them for the first one next year in October, but it's a long gap between Creative Escapes, which is a bit sad but true. So we won't be releasing them. However, the next one is next year is the 18th of April, and we're not calling it autumn, it's Oriental. Oh, can't wait. I may or may not have been looking for really cool things for the tables. Anyway, so it is Oriental. So we'll be releasing those tickets on try booking on the 1st of Feb. Now that is a Sunday. So I'm going to get them ready to go, and they will go live at 8 a.m. on the 1st of February. So it'll be all set up to go, okay? So you might want to put that date in your diary as well as the escape on the 18th. who knows? And then on the 18th, we'll release the dates for the one in June, and that is Dutch Creative Escape. Margaret's very excited, of course. So the food will also match, so there'll be Oriental food, and then there'll be Dutch fare. And then on the Dutch one, we'll release the dates for the September one, and the September one is on the 12th of September, so earlier than the spring one this year, with good reason. And that one is going to be, if I can line it up with the fabric range, English. I'm going to go English. What kind of UK? Okay, so that's going to be quite different as well. All right, so we're going to have different country each time. Then October next year, the big one you need to remember for me is October the 22nd, 23rd and 24th. That is Goodbye Under the Australian Sun at the hall as well. Okay, now I've actually got here in my hot little bundle the Melba Farewell Exhibition form, which will get completely revamped with dates and everything. And I'm going to send that off to Cass to do for me now so that I've got it ready to go. And I will be opening up opportunities or invitations to exhibit much earlier than the Melba one because I know there's many, many more things out there, probably 5 times as many things for Under the Australian Sun as there were for Melba over the last 15 years. So that's me. And then look at this. This is, look, can you see that? Every month next year with fluoro pen all the way through it of all the things that are on. Okay, so they are the dates for our events. Of course, the other one is Jace. You want to have the 28th of November in your diary, and you want to have the 4th and 5th of December in your diary. Okay, they are all the big dates that we had to deal with this week. So there was a lot of planning, a lot of talking, a lot of discussion with Jason as well. Mainly over him getting his gorgeous mum to give me her sherry bundt cake recipe so that we can use it for catering while he is here. So we've got a little bit of his hometown fare, and then we're going to show him some really, really good Aussie Gippsland food fare as well while he's here. So they are all the dates. So meeting is now over. If you wish to leave, if you've got other stuff to do, you can go. However, please don't, if you've got time, to stay, because we're going to have a look at a heap of stuff this morning. It's one of those days where I had to write myself a list. So let's talk about what we're going to work on demo-wise this morning first, though. Will you sit still? You were smooch this morning. Goodness me. You've missed having me around, haven't you? Wasn't here much this week. Can you just... Oh my goodness. I always feel like saying, welcome to our pet-free environment. Will you sit still? This beautiful, beautiful pintuck Christmas tree is Imelda Kavanagh's, and it was a showstopper last weekend at our exhibition. Just gorgeous. I did some close-ups of it for Facebook too, so if you've got time to go back and have a look, please do, because it's divine. I'll have to put... See? Oh, you little bugger. Off the table. Off. You made me say the word bugger on Facebook. Nick off. Imelda made these beautiful little bead charms on here as well, and it's got tinsel. I'm going to put some close-ups of it in the newsletter for you so you can see it. It's just lovely, and you can see what she's also done as well. Imelda has fussy cut from the grey border print from Melba, so she's got these going down the sides and across the top, and she's also got the Waratahs recut into the cornerstone. So it's quite deceiving. It looks like it's all one frame, but it's actually been fussy cut down to fit around. So we love it. It's gorgeous. And it's all very sad because that fabric's gone. So what I have done, I've gone through and found reassessed and stock taped all of the Melba fabric left after the exhibition. So today's words are not up for you yet. Oh, they're sitting here. I didn't put them up. Hang on. You've got 2 words for today. One of them is for our spring sale that has started online already. And the other one is for what we're going to talk about today with the beautiful new Robert Kaufman prints and the patterns that we're talking about today. And they are under the word... Wait, I've got to cut that end off and this end off. so organised, and then I didn't actually put it up. They're under the word Imelda. Of course they are. So Imelda is our search word for everything that we're doing today. And then you've also got Susie. Two beautiful girls, two gorgeous girls to hunt under. So if you want to go look at the specials, they're under Susie. And if you want to have a look at what we're talking about today with new things and patterns, it's under Imelda. I'm sorry, Imelda, I'm pinning onto your quilt, just like that. Yep, you're up. So Susie never says a curse word, never loses it, keeps it together, calm farm all the time. However, I've learnt now, knowing her for a while, I can start to see when she's starting to get a little bit, because if everything's good, if I say something, she'll go, cool. And then if I think she's not coping, I know, because she'll say, fair enough, and then I can pick the difference between them. So I'm going to pop this over here. So Susie's going to sit over here in the red for the specials. I hope she doesn't see me. I hope she doesn't watch and see that I've said that. But I feel like that's it. She'll find a new thing to say now, so I can't tell what she's thinking. Alright, so under Imelda, I've put the 3D Christmas tree pattern. It is available as a digital download, so you can grab it from there. And also under Today and Sale, one of those are all the Melba. I forget which one now. I think it's under Imelda, are all the fabrics that we have left in Melba, which are not a lot. And that was the whole idea, to farewell. So what we do have, you will find, and they are all $20 a metre, or particularly with the ones that are on a 60 centimetre repeat, they are $10 for 60 centimetres. So you've got this gorgeous one here, which is, I'm allowed to say that now, I know, after 10 years. This, which is our project panel in grey. Now you could run that round the edge if you wanted to. I've also popped up precious metals in the silver, because as we sell out, we've sold out of most of the coordinates now. This is a fantastic one to pop in for a bit of pop. You can see that that would work really well in this colourway that Imelda has done. We do have this. Now the pattern that is up as well is this one. If you have a close look at it, this is what I have used. So this was a little segue in the floral in terms of colour. Evie, who was design director at Kaufman way back at the start, suggested this one to give it that 1920s feel, and it matches in quite well with the little apple green leaves that are in there. This I've popped up on special, but I haven't popped it all up because I'm quite keen to keep this as a coordinate in the shop. Just one bolt of it, because I can see some things coming through over the next few months that will go really nicely with this. We don't have the other borders now, but we do have this one, which is the ivory cream. And this is really important to mention because also you've got up now the Farewell Melba quilt pattern that I did with the last one. This has got this border print in it. If you've got 2 meters of this, and you can get one of the Waratahs in the middle, one of these big guys, and you've got maybe 1.2 or roughly that of the project panel in the grey or in the ivory, then you can make this quilt. And please remember, this is a freebie in A Quilter's Life. Okay, so that went up for the girls this week. Otherwise, you can order a copy. There you go. Pop that across there. In our flash new bags. So this one as well works in the Melba twisted knitting bag, table runners, weekend at Melba, or in our little spring basket pattern for that matter. And we've got the ivory and the silver left. Okay, in the Nouveau, that's it. So have a look at those. I've also popped up the Australis ones that we've still got, and also just a note on the fans. A little bit of confusion, which I've created myself. The fans are on special, but not for long. And the reason is I'm just want to knock my stock down a little bit. They're also on special for all of my shop customers. So if you've got a local shop you like supporting, you could go in and mention to them that we have all of the green, reds, black and ivory on super special for shops as well. I'm just knocking my stock down a bit because these will go with Yomu. Do you know what? I was in Bunnings yesterday after the orchid show, and a message from Jason. We were talking back and forth about the recipes, as I mentioned, and he said, oh, by the way, your Yomu has arrived, and in capital letters it said, it's gorgeous. And I was like, wow, Jason lost my fabric. And wow, Jason got his before me. How so wrong in so many ways. So Jason's got my production samples at his end, and I don't have them. I get mine Wednesday. It's just not right. It's not fair. But I was pretty happy, and I just wanted to go around each aisle and tell everybody Jason liked my fabric, but that was inappropriate. Anyway, so they're nearly here, and I'm going to be able to show them to you. These will go with them. So a little bit of a special still, but then that'll get closed off. So grab them if you want them. I've got all the other ones here, but I really want to move on. So please have a look. All the Australis Melba that we still have. Not much, but the stock is correct. So if it's saying sold out, it's gone. It's gone. There are also some kits that I'm doing, and Rob's actually doing patterns and kits for me now. If you grab the project panel, or you've got some in your stash, chatelaine pattern takes 60 centimeters. So I am getting some kits together with what is left in this as well. I've set aside just to make up a few kits, and I've got the cord, so I'll have those to show you on Wednesday night. All right, so, but again, if you've got that, Rob's will get that up today. Combined shipping, so just order whenever and how many you want, and we'll just refund your postage for you as usual. And this is what I made with what was left of the grey border stripe. So we had these at the exhibition, and I've made the rest up into these. So we've got the Nouveau twisted knitting bag, and you've got what is now gone in the shimmer, in the pink, the beautiful slipper pink with the silver, and the little floral is there. There's the grey background for the pintucks, and also the waist or the foundation fabric that you use underneath and the lining. So we'll get those all sorted and up. I've only got 5, but we're doing it. Put that under there. And Melda, I'm going to put your card in for you as well. I think everyone's got their exhibition card in there. All right. Oh, sorry. Pin tucks as well. Then I can get this off the stand because it does not match the stand. We've done a new version of the Under the Australian Sun pin tuck patchwork bag, and that is because we no longer have the smaller, you know what I call the smaller all over floral. Its design number was 0013, so if you're looking at selvages, we don't have that in the black and red anymore. So we've made a new sample with what we like to call the Mega Warra from way back, but this selvage says 0024, so this is the remake that I did. When was that? Oh, it was the first fabric that arrived here, so it's been here only for about 2 years, the big Mega Warra task. So I've redone the kits and the pattern with this one on the front, and they're up online, and they are under Melba. And pop that down there on the floor. So we all miss fusions from Robert Kaufman. I do, on a daily basis. I loved them. I worked with them. We got to coordinate them with my fabrics when I was with RK. They were great, weren't they? Fantastic. Binding, selvage, binding, sashing, applique, small piecing. And at one point, when we were at Scott Street, where was Scott Street? No, we lived in Scott Street. When we were down at the shop, we had, in Key Street, I reckon there was about 60 colours. It was phenomenal. There were so many colours. We had a great big sample card. They're all gone. But this is what they have given us. They have kind of rebirthed, reinvented themselves. And these are called mixed metallics. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a close-up so you can see what they look like. And they are in a way, more detailed and more sophisticated than the original Fusions were. So you can see it's got a beautiful scroll through it, but see the shading? It goes through to a pale pink and then down to a dark pink. These are not digitally printed, these are screen printed to the best of my knowledge. Hang on, I might need to get some inside intel. No, I'm wrong, they're digitally printed, and that's how they can get all this happening, because I've just had to do my ombres for Yomu screen printing and it did our heads in. So infinite shading in there, and all up I've got so far 18 colours. Look, so this is one of the patterns, that's the scroll pattern, and then we have dots. Now this is exciting to me because we haven't had a chance really yet to have a play with Jason's Dip Dot Evolution, so I can see us being able to put both collections together and do some circle work maybe to really play up the whole circle dot thing. But look at that, look at that, see it goes right down here. So you're going to get a lot of shading variation with these, and at the same time they are a good tonal print so that you can use them for doing, again, bindings, applique, sashing, lots and lots of beautiful work. Bargello, gorgeous. Love the greens. Actually, we're going to play with this one. It's just, it's yum. If you have Peter 1895 Batik in your collection, this one is going to go with it. She's in trouble, Robbie.
I know.
She's in big trouble. I don't think I've used the overhead yet. Let me just take a bit off here because we want to use this today. But you can see the shading in it. It's just lovely. I'm still not sure about the sashing. I understand that, you know, it's fun and it's funky, and for people that collect salvages, look at it, it's hot pink, it's great. But as a shop owner, putting it up on the shelf, I'm going to reserve my judgment, because that is yeah. Anyway, someone's decided it's a good idea at Kaufman. I need another colour to go with that. You know, I'm going to go yellow. I'm not going to go red, I'm going to go yellow to make some pintucks to show you, and then we can talk about formatting. Now I've popped these up in 25 centimetre increments, not half a metre, because I do feel that you might like to get a few of them for your stash. So you've got to see this orange. This orange is insane, and it reminds me of Hoffman's. I want to put it with Hoffman's orange, red orange, that's called Singapore. I haven't got any in stock at the moment, but I'm going to have to get it back. Look. It's got pop, very much so. It's just, yeah, it's fantastic. All right. There's a really good red, really good red, and a dark red. I'll show you closer in a minute. But grab them in 25 centimetre bits if you want to collect them. And then the other thing that I have done, there'll be complaints in staff management about this, doing fat quarter bundles again. But I've put all 18 of them in bundles, okay? This stuff, I love it. Okay, so I've done 2 bundles, so you're going to get 2 bundles, so you're going to get 18 of them. Look, so these are fat quarters. So if you are doing a lot of bias work as well, this might be a really good investment for you. You will see what I have done essentially on the website. If you buy 25 centimetres off the bolt individually, it is $6.75. Yes, my friends, we are dealing with price increases, of course, again, with tariffs and everything hitting our mates in America. But if you buy the bundles, they work out to $6 each, so it's quite a good saving across the 18. But 18's a lot. That is 4.5 metres of joy. Aren't they beautiful? So look at the colour in that. So you've got dark purple and then this funky mid purple that's got pink lilac purple over the top, gorgeous spots, then a really soft mauve scroll, two beautiful blues. This blue here, it borders on periwinkle, so you can talk to it when it arrives at your place and pop it with your ombre periwinkle. Beautiful royal blue. There, those two teals I showed you, and greys. Grey with gold is so hard to get, and we've got two of them there now. And this pile, sensational, essential black. You could go all out and have a black background Christmas tree, just saying, and then you've got deep red, bright red. There's that gorgeous orange, yellow, really, really nice cream and gold. Kaufman do the best golds. Look at that cream. That is just beautiful, and I love this. This used to exist in metallic fusions. I forget what it was called. I don't know if it was called old gold or what, but it did. It was there. And that is just lovely antique gold to put with any classic Christmas print. Would be really, really nice. Okay, so I'm going to pop that back there. I'm going to pop these up here and we can have a little play. Don't think those two bundles, those first two bundles are not going in my office.
5 going live?
Yes, please, Robbie. 5 kits. Thank you. Okay, Christmas trees. It's been a while. What I want to explain to you is I'm going to show you how the pintucks work. And I know that we've done this many times before, but we might have some new friends with us today. So I want to show it to you. But essentially what happens with all the projects that we've talked about with the Under the Australian Sun, with the pintuck patchwork bag, with the twisted knitting bag, and with the tree, they are foundation pieced. So the pintucks all get put together in a foundation way. And that's why when you get these kits or you have a look at the pattern, it always says 20 centimetres or whatever it says you need, and it's not seen in final project. So that goes underneath. A lot of the time people read and go, what's the bit of white that I've got in my kit? That's what it's for. So always follow that couple rule. Have a read through of your pattern first before you start. It won't always make sense then, but it just helps everything gel when you do start going through the steps of making your project. So with the tree, there is a foundation shape underneath that you draft up first. Melba, you should just come and taught this, and done the demo, because you'll remember, you can probably do them off by heart now. So you need a medium underneath for your foundation work. With the bags, I usually work with a fabric underneath. But you can also work with a violin if you want to, or something. I wouldn't go adhesive so much because you're going to risk getting on your iron. But you can work with just like a non-adhesive violin if you want to. I've got a piece here and I've tagged it today. So I'm nervously coughing because in my head I'm going, no, we don't use adhesive. And then I'm thinking, but that new Wonderfil Stitch Enhancer would be really good. So I suppose when we started doing this many years ago, we didn't have some of the opportunities and the products that we've got available now. That would be super cool to use underneath. You just got to be careful you don't hit your iron with it. So anyway, I've got a piece here. I want to just show you in the pattern what I'm talking about. So when you actually start this pattern, on your foundation piece that goes underneath, you've got instructions to draft up your triangle, okay? So I'll just turn the page and you can just see here. Wait, not that page, this one. This is actually the digital download copy that I've got here. So I just want to hold this for you and show you. Can you see that there? So there's instructions to mark up a rectangle, then mark up the triangle for your tree, and then there's a little diagram that shows you how to mark the tree so that you can keep track of where you're up to and always correct as you go, as you foundation piece, in case your seam allowance is a little bigger or smaller, in case you were too busy listening to the radio and you may have just gone a slight angle. And as you go up, you can always come back, and when you lay the next piece down, you can correct and straighten up again. So that's one of the advantages pretty much with any foundation piecing, to get it really accurate. So a diagram is drawn up, okay, which is cool. So that's what you work with. So if I was to just do, let's do a mini one just to show you. And the reason I want you to understand that is, once you've got the grasp of how it works, you can do any shape you want. Now I've got, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I've got this stuff called Yomu coming. Sorry. And I'm already thinking about those ombres of mine and how I'm going to use them. And maybe we do 4 squares of twisted pin tucks, and we make one lot go that way and one lot go that way and that way and that. Like, I've got all this stuff going around in my head. Fans, and put the pin tucks in between the segments on the fans. Stuff, so much stuff that we can do. So I would, for me, I think it's important, as long as you or understand the basics of how the pin tuck works, then I know I can send you on your merry way to have a play. And you know, the bags and things, have a look at the pin tuck bag as well. It's just one straight bit of the twisted pin tucks, and then it's got a feature fabric next to it. Now if you've got that pattern, you can make that section narrower, make it wider. Instead of them going that way, you can turn it and have them going lengthways, which is what we did with the twisted Melba one as well. So it's just very excited we get to use it again. Okay, as I said, I'm not going to do one as big as the pattern and Imelda's, but I do just want to do a little one and get it set up for you. Like that. Hey, can I ask a favour as well? I want to set up for Jason next year a little virtual wine tour around Australia. Any excuse, right? No, seriously. I have my favourites from Victoria and from the Barossa, but if you have a wine or a winery in your region or that you think is super good, can you email me, info@chandlerscottage.com, because I really, really, really just want to have some nice wines here for him to try. Okay, just if you, he has to have one from the Rothbury estate, or he has to have one from Chateau Tebuc. Well, I know that. He has to have one from here in the Clare Valley, or here from Queensland, or Western Australia. Just one. Just give me one winery or one wine that you think is a good representation of your region. I've opened up, I'll probably opened a can of worms now. Anyway, but can you let me know? Right, so this piece here is like going to be a little mini tree, and the first thing that I'm going to do is mark in a 1/4 inch seam around the edge, because when this is all said and done, we have to have a seam allowance to sew the tree into maybe a border like mine, or piecing around the edges, or like the one on the wall, it's got a little separate section at the bottom with the tree trunk. You don't have to have a tree trunk, and some presents around the bottom. And if you're wondering how the presents are done, you actually use, can you see that? Oh, I know what we can do. Stay there, stay there. I'm going to go over here. Let's get this camera, which I've set up for sewing, but just give me a tick. Okay, I've just moved a camera. Just wait. All right. Okay, at the bottom of the tree, camera 3. Haha, there you go. So, see these little guys down here? Imelda has done a really cool thing different to my pattern. I want to show you. So she's just popped in a square, okay, and before she's sewn it into the side pieces, she's put a lovely bit of, what do we call that, rat's tail I think it's called, a little bit of cord in at each piece to cross over. See that? So they go like that. So they're set into the seams, and then she's tied it up with another little bit of braid and some beautiful ribbon and some little beads. I love it. Now in the pattern, if you want to do it the way that I did it, you actually cut down your leftover pin tucks, which you can barely see my finger, sorry. You cut down your leftover pin tucks, and use them with little squares, and we put them together. So we sandwich the squares together with the little pin tucks that are trimmed down, and then you get little twisted ones at the bottom as well. I think you can see them. You see those down there? See, they've got little twisted pin tucks. But you can have a play with those, and you might want to, you know, if you've got some cool Christmas fabric and it's got maybe for children a little teddy bear or a little ball, a little Christmas deck, anything like that, you might want to just fussy cut that and pop it into those little squares. So you have a bit of fun at the bottom. Alright, so for my tree, I have just marked up a 1/4 inch on there. Hope you can see it okay. And then for the top of my tree, I need to find the center. So I cut this 12 inches. So I'm going to mark the center up the top, and then I'm going to join it up so I'm getting my triangle for the tree. Now, all this background area that is here, we actually cut triangles of the background fabric for the one on the wall. So I've actually worked out the size of pieces pretty much that you need to go on there, and we cut those. You can do those any way you want. You might even just want to sort of cut a big square and flip it back, cut a big triangle on the angle and cut it down. When you get your pattern, have a look, and you can always scale it up or down to match. If you end up with triangles that are too big, sew them on and just trim them down, because then you're actually kind of squaring up your center tree block at the same time. So you can do that. Now what I'm going to do is mark in my lines for my pin tucks and the background that goes underneath. So this is how long it is since I've done this. I'm just going to have a look and go. Continue, mark from your tree. 1/4 inch line. Okay, I'm just going to go. So from the bottom, I'm going to mark it at 1 inch, because I can always trim off later. Now what 1 inch means, if you go at 1 inch, it means that your strips that are going to sit in the background behind the tree, so on Imelda's that's that beautiful teal, they're going to be finished 1 inch. This is where you make up your mind. You make up your mind how big you want the gaps to be in between your pin tucks. You might not even want them straight. You might like the idea of them going up a tree like the tinsel on Imelda's. So if we were to do that, we would do something funky like this, and we would draw across, and then here I might go the other way. Now we're only going to be putting the pin tucks in the tree area, but it is really handy to have the line drawn beyond that, because it's pretty good to sew on the pin tucks beyond the line and then trim them back later. So you can sew on those background triangles as pieces, but the other thing that you can actually do is cut a whole rectangle, which is this, a whole rectangle, and then actually applique your tree over the top. Alright, so if I was doing that like Imelda's here, I would have a whole background of the cream here and here, just down to here, and then I would turn under the seam allowance on the edge of the tree and slip stitch it or top stitch it on. So you can piece, or you can actually put it over the top. If you do something that's a little bit more complicated, which is like what I want to do with it now, then putting it on afterwards is probably going to be easier. I want to do a wave one. I want to have it like that for side effects. I don't know what that was. I want to do this, so it's a wave down the middle of a table runner. So with that, definitely going to be turning under and outer sashing. That has been cut on the bias. Right. Again, once you've got the hang of it, you'll be off and running and doing lots of different things. So this is what my tree is going to look like. I feel the need, let me just pop my, I don't need the light box, I'm just going to pop that underneath so it's easier for you to see those lines. Is that better? That's a bit better. You can see them on the overhead now. Now what we need is background fabric and the pintucks. So I'm going to sit that there. These are going to be my pintucks here. Aussie, Aussie, oi, oi. It's a bit like that, isn't it? Okay. So, classic pintuck, 1.5 inch strips, okay? Again, you can mess with it if you wish. If you make them bigger, just remember you won't be able to twist and turn them as much. And you can go narrower. What is Rob? Robbie's out there. Oh, he's doing something at the chook pen. I can hear him hammering. I know that sound. If anyone knows what the sound's like when someone is hammering in a star picket, that's what I can hear. Maybe. There we go. So we've got these guys ready to go. And what we need to do for our pintucks is actually put a line down through the middle. So to save time and so that you don't fall asleep, have another little knot off, I'm going to cut these. That is not paper scissors. They are paper scissors. We're going to cut this in half just so we can get a few done. Okay, so we've got these two, and on one of these I need to draw right down the middle. So essentially we are creating a 3/4 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm going to pop that there. Okay, just trying to straighten it up so I get that accurate down through there. After a while, if you do a lot of these, I would be getting a piece of masking tape and I'll do it in this view so you can see it, and marking the 3/4 inch line or seam allowance on your machine, on your needle plate, so that you can follow it. I know there's one on a Janome, and I know I've got it on the Benina, but still, depending on the foot you're using, put those together like that, you might need to make a mark. Now, the other thing too, if your line isn't straight in the middle, like it's a little bit off, when you see later on with the next step, your edges might end up a little bit uneven. It's fine. You can hide the short side. I'll show you in a minute. All right, I'm going to sit these up here so they are ready to go. And now we need some background. Maybe I should have, yeah, I probably didn't get this right, did I? Oh, let's go black. Should we go black? Let's go black. Pull this out. Oops. And let's get some black. Yum. It is super. Let me show you. Look. Look at that as a background. Or a sashing. It's just gorgeous. Just lovely. Okay. So, pop that down here. Cut that. We don't need much. I just want a bit to play with. Okay, stand that up again. Now, I have to be careful here because if I was just doing the, I was going to say just, if I was following the pattern, I'm very good at following patterns, even my own, but if I was following the pattern, what you would do is actually cut 1.5 inch strips of your background as well. But because I want to do these weird and wonderful shapes here, like this, I need to find pieces that are wide enough to do this angle here. So I'm going to measure this. So the highest point on that angle there is about 2.5. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cut a piece that is 2.5 inches wide. I'm just looking at the other ones. I've created a rod for my own back here. Hang on, how big are these ones? That is 3. I'm going to cut a 3.5 inch strip because then I know it is big enough for the other pieces as well. So I'm going to pop this here. Okay. We'll just pop this bit aside. I can probably use this for some of the narrower ones up the top. And then if we have a look, you can see that that's going to be big enough to cover that bottom section there. So I'm going to cut this just generously about here with the scissors. And I'm going to lay it, I'll get rid of the light box now. I'm going to lay it on the line. Laying it all on the line. I'll pop that there, and that's going to sit there, like that. Now, back in the day, Melba, if I'm right, we would pin all of this in place, but remember we've got all this other cool stuff now. So if you've got your double-sided tape sitting in the cupboard, you might like to get that out to secure that piece down there. You could also put some dabs of glue just to hold it in place. I find the less pins that we've got going on with the pin tuck work, the better. So I'm just going to just put just a few. I don't want it too close to where my seam allowance is going, my seam line's going to be. So I'm going to do that and just sit that there. There's a lot hanging off the edge here. We can probably just trim that down, okay? And then when we've got our pin tuck ready, we're going to come back and we're going to have another bit that sits across that way. Now I can already see I haven't cut this wide enough. I measured that side instead of this one. So you're going to bear with me, and I'm going to, that one's going to sit that way, and then that was going to cut across there. So it's like a bit of a, it's a bit of a wedge. It needs to be a wedge shape, so it's just not quite big enough. I'm going to drop it down to there, I think. So we'll see how we go. Now, let's head to the machine and we'll make up. We're not on the machine, are we? We're still over there. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, as they say, in the show business, never work with children or animals. And I have a cat banging on at the front door. Will you just give me just a minute? I want to go and see if I can pacify her that she goes away. Sorry. All fixed. I've just handed her over to Robert to put her inside the house. I don't know what her beef is this morning, but she's not happy. Right, pin tucks. Let's go to the machine and then we can get going. I think it's payback for last week, not being here much at all. Okay, so we've got this line marked in down the middle, and we'll pop our foot down. I don't know if I can't remember if I have any suggestions about stitch length, but I don't think it needs to be small. And you really will want a nice, not small. I'm going to put mine up to 3 for today, and just keep an eye on your tension, because depending on what you've been doing, let's have a look. If it starts to pull up a little bit, I've got a little bit of a pull up there. Oh, we all know why, don't we? Lisa, put your dual feed on. Okay, that should be better. There we go. just a little bit off there. Look, I've got a little bit of green sticking out, but as I said, we can fix all of that if there's any uneven. There we go. We'll cut that off, and then we can take it over and give it a press. So what happens with this now is we're going to set the seam first. Of all the times we have to remember to set our seam to get a really nice turnover, this project is definitely on the top 10 of those. So we're going to bring the two yellow ones together and bring the two green ones together like that. Open out flat. Now you can see here with mine, see how there's just a little bit of the green showing through? If I was to fold it that way, we'd see it, but if I fold it inwards, I won't. So we'll take it over to the iron and I'll show you a little bit clearer what I mean. Pintucks are also just a great thing. You know, they are literally 1.5 inch strips. So you can have a great time, an absolutely great time, using up all your leftovers with them as well. It's a really nice tactile thing. So if you've got a little person that just loves tactile stuff, they can run their fingers down and everything, pin tucks are a great thing to make up with your leftovers. I do not have a good side to my ironing mat anymore. Both sides are bad. Ginny's might be alright, I just need to give it a clean and get it out. Both sides I have managed to boo-boo. Okay. Now my little mini iron, oh, I've got these back in stock too. My little mini iron has been sitting around with no water in it. So instead of using water this morning, I'm just using my spray bottle. You don't need a fancy spray bottle, just a normal spray bottle from the supermarket or hardware store. Doesn't have to be a flash one. All you want is one that's got a really nice fine mist. Okay, so we'll do that, and then open them up like that. So you can see they're a little bit uneven. I wasn't quite in the middle, so we're going to fold in that way rather than the other way. So once you've got this flattened, then you can go through and put both colours right sides together. Go. Maybe just a little bit more in here. I would usually use, I will admit, a big fat steam iron to do this. When I say big fat, I just mean a sunbeam. But right, so once you've done that, now we can turn in and press this way. So you can imagine if you've got a heap of leftover, oh, stripes look amazing. Stripes look really good in this. I think there are still some Hampton stripes up for grabs too on the sale. But any leftovers you've got. Okay, so now we have our two-sided pin tuck. Oh, so I'm just checking on you all because, you know, haven't looked a while. Kieran, good morning from Porpunka. Oh, you'll watch later? Awesome. Pam Stanton, I woke up in time today. I know, I'm a morning person. You're not always. Yeah, I know I didn't have the dual feed on. If there was only a way that you could set off a flashing light above my machine to let me know when I don't have it on, that would be great. Good morning, Joe. I'm glad you're here. Sylvia, good morning. How are you? Wendy Burns, turning block would look good too. Yes, yes, all that, Wendy, all that. Pin tuck it all. All right, I just want to show you how this works, and then I can set you on your merry way for your Sunday of stitching. When I mentioned that we've set all the dates. I have another one I want to do, and I thought I would just run it by you, see what you think. Not a full-on day, not a fully catered day. It has catering, but just a bit of a cash day, if that makes sense. And I wanted to have a scone Saturday or a scone Sunday, so it would just be a stitch day and scones, because we now know we can make a good scone in the oven at the church hall. But just a day. It may even be a Sunday. I think a Sunday might be the go. And we would make it a specials day too. So it might be a day where we have our pop-up shops, but lots of things on special. So just keep that in the back of your head. You might like that idea. And if you do, let me know. Can you see what I've done here? I'm just such a wally. This one has to go across that way. So I'm going to look at this as now a bit of a diagram. I'm going to cut that there. I think if you chose a wedge shape, not random like I just drew it up for you, if you choose a wedge shape, if you did my applique sampler and you've got your wedge shape from your border, you could use that kind of angle. But if you just chose one and then you dovetailed them up, that would be easier than the chaos I'm creating for you here. I need an angle across there. I'm going to cut that down. Maybe that's what I can do. Oh yeah, that's good. Maybe that's what I could do with a table runner as well. We could have a wedge dovetail one. How are we looking? Yes, that's what we want. Okay, so we're going to sew that, put it down. Now what if I set it down this way, it means the predominant colour of the pin tuck is going to be yellow on the top or green. Let's go green. So I'm going to pop that there, and then this guy is going to go right side down and sandwich them in between like that, and then pin. A little bit like putting in a zip. Oh my goodness, now I can hear a hungry lamb outside. I'm going to have to go and see if it needs a top-up bottle. I mean, they're mugs, but any excuse to hold a lamb and feed it. And I think I'm up this morning to do that. So I'm going to put 3 in, and then from there I'm going to let it ride, because you've got all these layers going on. If you have a walking foot and you don't have dual feed, I would pop it on. I definitely would, because you've got 4 layers from the pin tuck alone, plus the 2 pieces of fabric, plus the violin behind. And that's why you never want anything really too thick to go underneath. But I would definitely pop on your walking foot. And I'm going to stick on my 1/4 inch foot as well with my dual feed. So, because I do want that 1/4 inch. So I'll just take that one off. And put this one on. Here we go. Okay. So 1/4 inch. If you have trouble with your keeping your 1/4 inch nice, and you do have one with a guard on the side like the Jonomi ones, this is one of those times where you might find it a real advantage, because there is quite a little bit of a ledge there with all those thicknesses underneath. The main thing I want to say is that don't look, everything shifts and moves with this, so please don't stress over it too much. If you, and I'm sure Melba will tell you that too, don't worry too much. And every time, remember, if you've got your lines marked down, to do the 1.5 inch strip ones particularly, you'll be fine. because you can correct it every step. So you can see here, even with my 1/4 inch and my jewel feet, I'm getting a little bit of a bubble. If I had my walking foot on, I would not. A little bit of a lift at the top. So either way, that's why it's good not to pin the whole way. Just enough to get you started. Hey Melba, I so want to do this tree now with wedges. And like officially work it out properly. So you can see I've gone over the line because we're going to come back and trim back later anyway. And you'll find that in the pattern as well. Okay, so that's on there. So again, keep your tension nice and on the loose side so that with all those layers, things don't start puckering up on you. So I think this pucker here is just because it needs its seam set. There we go. There we go. So we've got our pin tuck in. I'm going to pop just a little bit of water on there and give it a press up. Okay, and it's on. So now what would happen, I would come back, and I haven't got a piece quite long enough because I cut my lengths in half, but then we would come back again and pop the next one on there, pop the next wedge up, and keep going up the tree. The fun bit comes later. Don't worry about twisting until you've got all your pieces on. The twist happens when we come back, trim it all down, and then add on this outer piece. And before we add on the edge that goes around the tree, that's when we have fun. So we would actually turn this up here. I'm just going to pop a pin in it to reveal the contrast in colour on the other side of the pin tuck like that. Okay, so that will go up, and then this side maybe will stay down, but you could also put this one up as well and then pull this down, and then you're starting to get these lovely 3D twists through the tree. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull a Melba's down now and actually show it to you in closer detail. But you can see what I mean. So you can have this side up, you can have this one pinned down with a nice gold French knot or a bead or a little charm or something in the middle. I do love having mine all up one side. I must admit, I like the symmetry of it. Particularly on a smaller tree like this. If you're in a Melba's size 1, which is in the pattern, there's wider pieces, so there's a lot more room to move them up and down. But that is how you make a pin tuck both ways. Now, you know what I'm going to say. Ombre, hello. Ombre, sensational. You could actually run dark to light one way and then light to dark on the other side, so you use the same one and they merge across in the middle. Could look incredible. But yes, I can't wait to get my hands on mine and use them to do pin tucks. Can't wait. And Jason's got them and I don't. But he liked them, and that no matter what happens this week, anything that goes wrong this week, I'll go, but Jason likes my fabric. Oh no, it's not wow, it's a relief that he does, because he's about to go to fall market. So before the Houston Festival, the trade show is on, and he's going to take them and show them to shops. And I haven't sold in America for 6 years, so sorry, I'm all talking about me now, but very nerve-wracking. Right, let's get a Melba's down and have a look. Sorry, Melba, you're going under the microscope now. Look closer. Look, getting closer, getting closer. Look, look, look. Okay, I'm going to lay it down. Oh, Melba, it's big. But I just want to show everyone the detail. Okay, so remember all the new stuff today, and Melba is under a Melba name. And then if you have a look under Susie, that's Susie's sale that's on at the moment. And if you're wondering what's in there, there's lots. and they are $12 a metre, so $6 a half metre. Same price or less than a fat quarter these days. Let me just, I'm being very, very careful because of all these precious beads and things on it. I just want to get it, there we go, up close for you. Okay, so what we were doing was pretty much this first one that you lay down here, and then a pin tuck on the top, and then the next background piece. So that's all we've done on our little tree, is that first sew there. So each time that you sew on the top strip, you will fold it back, and then it will become the one that sits underneath, and you put the next pin tuck on top, sandwich the next strip in, and fold up. And then as you go up the tree, of course, the pieces get shorter and shorter as you go up to the top of the tree up there. And so you can see here too what Imelda has done. She's left it down on one side, and she's sewn it up on the other side. So it's much longer than the one that we did, so it's up here. And then along the way, she has lifted up the pin tuck and secured it down with the little charm of beads at the bottom, which is just precious. So she's got decorations on, but also before she has sewn on the outer border that goes around the tree where you secure down the lifted up pin tuck edges, she's laid across some beautiful silver braid, and that gives it the impression of it being, of course, tinsel all over. So it's really lovely. Here now you can see up close, this is done as one piece, and then this is a separate section that gets sewn on after, and that includes the tree trunk and the presents and a little bit more down the bottom to finish it all off. You could add another strip of cream up the top if you wanted to on this one. Imelda and I haven't, but you could, if you wanted to, take it up a little bit further. And you can also pop your actual star, if you decide to add anything up the top, over the top here. But Imelda's looks amazing because she has put, just fold it up, she's popped hers up right up the top, so it sits over the border print, and just the tip of it sits on top of the tree, which is also a wonderful option to pop up there. So I'm just going to pop this back up here. Oh, and if, oh my goodness, that isn't as easy as I thought. Hang on, there we go. If you really like the idea of these colours, but maybe for Christmas you might like a little bit more pop, I couldn't help but put these two next to it. So you've got grey, grey swirl, teal swirl and pink swirl that you could use together to get a brighter pop tree, but in that same colour combo that Imelda's got there. So I'll put that back up there. There you go. Alright, so I hope you have a go. You can do it with the tree, you can do it with the twisted knitting bag, and you can do it with the pin tuck patchwork bag as well. All of them are going to work really well for you to check out the technique. Out of the three of those, the straightforward one to get the concept is the pin tuck patchwork bag. The twisted knitting bag, if you do the same thing, they're shorter pin tucks, but there is a system to how you fold back the pin tucks to get the really cool feature on the front of that. And then you've got the tree, which is probably the most detailed advanced one. And ironically, that was the one that I did first. And then we did the other ones. So those, I hope you have a look at these as well. And combined shipping until midday on Tuesday. Now I have got a lovely task this afternoon and into this evening and tomorrow of finishing off sending back everyone's exhibition pieces. So if you haven't seen that yours is in the mail yet, that will be happening today and tomorrow. Alright, so I will get those done. Was going to be earlier in the week, but all of that planning took a lot longer than we thought for next year. So, but I'm glad it's all locked in. I'm glad you know when everything is happening. And we've got lots and lots to look forward to. But first and foremost, I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday evening, because I'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to get back into some bags. We need to get back and finish off some projects, so we'll just have our nice little sit and sew on Wednesday evening, and any updates from today for you, and then I'll see you again next Sunday morning. I said about next Sunday morning. No, I'll see you next Sunday morning. It's all good. Alright, now next week, complete change of pace to these fabrics. We I have two major things that I want to show you, but I think first and foremost, next week is Motor Week. I know, Motor has come to Chandler's Cottage, and from where I'm standing, with a vengeance. So this is going to be where I previously mentioned that we will have one where we do some nice traditional piecing next weekend with small pieces, with pieces cut on the bias, all the tricks and tips to do some lovely hand piecing work with a cute little pattern of mine that goes way back, and I can't wait to remake it or with these. Okay, if you were at the exhibition on the weekend, you did see some of the motor, but we've now had another 10 bolts arrive. So that's what we'll be doing next Sunday. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. If you've got any questions today, I'm going to be out. I've got my new work pants on. I'm going to be out cleaning out a chicken coop this morning and doing a bit of work around the back. So, Pauline Boyke, red, please. Red wine. So if you've got any questions, please email me at info@chandlerscottage.com. Leanne has the pattern on her table and first time doing pin tucks. Well, that is just wonderful. Imelda, I'm really glad I made your day, but honestly, you made all our days last weekend. It was lovely having your work there. We've got so much to do and so much going on before the end of the year, haven't we? So anyway, I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. All right, you have a great day, and I'll catch you soon. Thank you, everybody. Bye.